Ian Jones, welcome to the Mojo Wellbeing Podcast.
Thank you very much for the invitation.
Really appreciate you making the time. I know you're a really busy man in the new role at the All Blacks Experience, but today's about Mojo Wellbeing. And my first question, which may initially sound a bit cryptic, is who are you?
Well, thank you very much for the opportunity to start with. It's well-being is pretty important to me, my whānau, and to New Zealand really. So thank you very much for the opportunity. Who am I? Well, Ian Jones is my name, often referred to as a Kamo kid. Not so much the kid anymore, but a name or a nickname that's been around since 1989 when I made my debut for the All Blacks. But who am I? I'm a father to three beautiful kids, a husband to a beautiful wife, Janine. Janine is a charge nurse at North Shore Hospital, brings humility, brings empathy, brings direction to our whānau. Two boys, over Flynn, 25 years of age, Mia, daughter, 23 years of age, and a Noah. Amazing kids, 21 years of age. We live on the North Shore of Auckland, but we all originate from Northland, where both my family and Janine's family hail from. I am from Ngāi Tahu Māori Whakapapa on my mother's side, and Scottish heritage on my father's side, so what a beautiful blend and mix, and we've always understood more so my father's Scottish roots, because we're from Northland, and that Waipu connection and that Mackay and Finlayson connection, which is where we relate to, has always been strong in latter years, really driven through my kids, boys in particular, and Flynn probably more so than any of them, been driven to understand more of my Ngāi Tahu heritage, and which has been amazing for my whole family, my mother, their grandmother, and to kind of understand more about where we come from on that side, and that's been an amazing journey. I have, all my grandparents have passed away, but on one side, my mother's side, Donald and Margie Shaw, a teacher and a nurse, so real community-minded, driven people. Never knew my grandfather on my father's side. Clinton Jones, his name was, a soldier, so never met him. But Flora Jones, Flora Mackay was her name. Just an incredible supportive lady. She is that Scottish side, but also on her side of the family, very talented sporting family. Great uncle was an All Black, a guy called Bunny Finlayson, Tote Finlayson, in the early 1924, 1926. He was one of 6 brothers who played provincial rugby around New Zealand, so strong men from the farm. That's, and I'm the youngest of a family of 3 actually. Older brothers, Bruce is my oldest, and Greg is the middle one, but hell, number 1 supporters there.
Awesome. Thank you, Ian. That's fun, often understanding where you came from explains a lot in terms of what happens throughout a person's life, and
all of those people are your role models, right? I mean, you look at who are your heroes. It's always your mum and dad, or your brothers, your older brothers in my case. Direction they take, the values they stand for, the work ethic that they install in you, those little details about, working harder than the next person, or supportive all the way through, say, my rugby journey. I don't want to talk too much about my rugby journey, but I made no New Zealand teams ever until the All Blacks. But it was always your parents, that was always the supportive people all the way through.
And your rise actually was similar to Richie McCaw. He'd only played half a dozen Super Games, and all of a sudden he was in the All Blacks. You went from pretty quickly in there, didn't you?
Yeah, literally half a dozen games for North Auckland at that stage. As I say, missed out on all those teams, got an opportunity as a young fella. But the people who supported you all the way through that journey, when you miss out in teams or when you make Northland teams, have always been your mum and dad, your brothers, and that's the case today.
Well, I actually didn't know that you're the youngest of 3 boys, and that explains a lot in terms of, because the youngest, you know, I'm the youngest of 2 boys, and I was always trying to keep up with my older brother and very competitive, so that makes a lot of sense. So, yeah, Ian Jones, born April 1967, All Black number 902, 79 tests for the All Blacks at lock, and recognised as one of the great All Black locks, especially given you traversed that period from amateur to professional. So really, really honoured to be speaking with you today. If we stay on that theme of whakapapa and upbringing, I listened to an interview from a lovely young lady that was also a competitive swimmer and found out that, you know, in the little street that you grew up in Kamo, you were actually surrounded by some incredible achievers. Brian Monsell, who was the trainer to the 1976 gold medal hockey team, Blythe Tate, an Olympic equestrian athlete, Angela Brackenbridge, a table tennis player.
Yeah.
So can you tell me a little bit about your upbringing and what about that maybe helped you become, you know, an elite athlete, you know, for probably the most successful team globally ever?
Brian Young, Black Cap also
Yes.
included in that mix, and so it's just a little new subdivision in Kamo, so off Kamo Road, called Fisher Terrace. My family, my mum and dad, that was their first house in this new development. Next door, Brian Monsell, actually he was both a player, a coach for the New Zealand hockey team, but really his claim to fame and really got us, I guess, the street kids kind of up and running. He was the fitness trainer when we won gold at the 76 Olympics. So huge part of our lives in terms of setting direction. He was a real advocate for Arthur Lydiard in terms of that fartlek, early morning trainings,
the interval training,
and all of those kind of key messages. Well, we were doing those in the 70s.
Well, I think
80s.
that hockey team, one of their points of difference, they were just fitter than anyone else.
Absolutely. A cousin of mine called Grant McLeod was in that team playing, so he was as fit as anyone back there. So fitness has always been a key point of difference, I think, in my mentality, my understanding. And as you can see from me, I'm not the biggest, fastest, strongest at all. But if you're prepared to work harder than anyone else, and I mean, hard work will, in my opinion, trump skill every day of the week. I'll never trump attitude, so that was the kind of other things installed in there. But no, the Tates, still very good family friends today. Blythe was on our left-hand side. He grew up in suburbia up until 12 years of age when they moved to the country, and that's when he got into horse riding and equestrian, and not just an Olympic champ, he's also a world champ. So wonderful to have his support all the way through and just see his career go. Angela played table tennis for New Zealand for 10 odd years, and
I think you're all within 3 to 5 years of each other.
Yeah. Well, and my mother was a nurse. Kind of get out there and train and play and enjoy. There was a doctor just up the road, a guy called Dr. Bindon, who would ever stitch us up or patch us up if you needed patching up. But that was just, but not just those athletes who went on to do well. It was all of our siblings around, and when I was the youngest of all of that lot, so always trying to compete, always trying to keep up, always getting knocked down, and just getting told to kind of get back up the whole time. It was an amazing environment. I was very, very blessed to grow up there, and still talk about that today as one of those key cornerstones of success,
Yep.
you know, or attitude.
Yes.
Once more, to me, everything comes back to attitude.
Yep.
You know, but you're on a remarkable street.
Yeah, awesome, awesome. Blessed. So, Mojo Wellbeing is fundamentally about well-being, and we believe that every human being with a heartbeat has a superpower. How would you define well-being?
Yeah, beautiful question. That well-being to me, in my own personal context, and from my whānau's context, is balance. Balance is really, really important to me. In times in my life when you get those, and for me, my cornerstones are family, fitness. Fitness is really, really important to me, and that crossover between mental and physical well-being, really important. Work, clearly, is important. Community is really an important cornerstone in my family's kind of well-being journey. And friends are really important to have around me, and to socialise or to train with, or to. So for me in my own well-being journey, when those 5 pillars, those 5 buckets are balanced, life is good.
Yeah, awesome.
Life is great,
Awesome.
and you know, I know where I'm going. There's some direction.
Yep.
So structure and those things are really important to me. But in terms of well-being, balance.
Yep.
When they're out of balance,
Yes.
when I'm here at work too much, or I'm out training too much, or with the friends too much, or whatever that balance is, life's not that good.
Yeah, I understand.
But it's also for me, those buckets, when you get out of balance, you know how to reset.
Yes. Yeah.
Provided you can take that time to step back and acknowledge, understand, reflect.
Have the awareness.
And reflection hasn't always been a great part of my life, but my wife, as I said right from the start, that's her superpower. Reflection's really important. Yes. Empathy, appreciating other people's and other people's strengths. That's her superpower, which made me a hell of a lot better than what I was 30 years ago.
Yeah, it's nice when you've got a posse around you that can tell you sometimes when you don't have that awareness.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And you also got to be able to listen to it as well, you know, which is once more really important, and reflection. And so yeah, that's what well-being is to me.
Yeah, brilliant.
And without question, in my mind, the link between my physical well-being and my mental well-being are the same.
Yes.
And we can get into the details of that, but as I said, structure, planning, that's all part of what I need to do.
That real discipline. Yeah. Well, my next question, which you've already answered beautifully, was what are the pillars? And the pillars, as you said, family, fitness, work, community, friends. So that's awesome. Yeah,
but those pillars can go deeper than that, though. You know, in terms of all that's really, really important. And let's just get to the friends and the training one. To me, they're really important for my social interaction as well, which is really important, especially for a bloke.
Yeah,
I think, and I can't speak on females, and we should never compare the male and the female. We are different, and that's amazing that we're different, because we both bring so much to this world. But keep talking about structure, but structure with your friends or training, that I make commitments to you, they're really important. So hey, let's train tomorrow at 7 a.m. in the morning. A time and a place is really important to me. I mean, I don't mind training by myself, and I can talk about the disciplines of training by yourself, but when you make commitments to your friends to train together, which is awesome to be able to do, that shared pain, all of a sudden that almost ticks those friendships and training box, and that's good for me.
Yeah, awesome. Cool. You just actually started to touch on this. I know from often learning the hard way that when things slip, it's often through a lack of ritual or discipline.
Yeah.
So you've already touched on this. You know, doing what you say you're going to do honouring those times, honouring your friends.
Yeah.
What are some of the rituals, if you think about, say, daily,
Yeah.
weekly, monthly,
Yeah.
what are some of the rituals you have in your life that really help you maintain that balance you were talking about?
Well, structure is really important to me. But I guess before I get to structure, goal setting is really, really important to me. I mean, from a swimming background, and swimming is a really difficult sport.
Yep.
I mean, it's brutal.
Yeah.
In terms of when you're setting fine little margins, not huge moonbeam margins. But so that gave me a real understanding about goal setting. What's really important to me about goal setting is the whole circle of setting a goal, achieving a goal, but then celebrating that goal, but then resetting a goal. I mean, that fourth part to me is really, really important.
The resetting?
The resetting of goal. I mean, I've had so many of my brilliant All Black colleagues who are fantastic rugby players who have set a goal of becoming an All Black. Friggin' life-changing for you and your family, right? It is such an amazing honour. But then a few of these guys have never gone on to become maybe the great All Blacks that they could be because they've achieved their goal.
Sigh of relief, got the goal.
Absolutely.
And then they don't reset.
Don't reset to play a test match or to play multiple test matches or to play 50 test matches or whatever is driving you at that time. So celebrate your goals, man. New Zealanders don't do that probably half as well as we should do. That's really, really important. If that goal meant something to you and you achieved that goal, man, you should celebrate it before resetting.
Yes, take the time.
Take your time to pat yourself on the back. You know, don't be ashamed of that at all. And then reset that goal. And the other thing that I'm driven about, and this is not really a Kiwi thing either, but we should become a Kiwi thing. I in the opinion that you should share your goals. If I share my goal with you to run 10 Ks, all of a sudden from you I've got accountability. I maybe inspire you to, shucks, I want to do that as well. That sounds like an amazing thing to do. So all of a sudden I've become the inspiration to you. But also I share my goal of running 10 Ks with you. You might have done 100 of them. All of a sudden I have this amazing information that you could give to me. Now, if I hadn't shared that goal with you, all of that is lost. So that's, to me, it's really important to share your goals. So that goal setting thing is the first thing when we talk about pillars, right? So I'm going to want to run my first 5K. What an amazing thing that would be to do that. Then you need some structure, right? How are you going to do that? And structure to me is a plan. And part of my well-being, which is more to kind of keep me task-driven, is to write down a list, a plan, whatever the case may be. And I'll give you an example why this became so important to me. I played rugby all my life, played professional rugby for a big chunk of time. Professional rugby, well, rugby in general is a lot about structure. You're in a team environment, you're wearing the same uniform, you're getting to the venues on time or the training on time, and your week is really structured. I was in England for the last 4 years of my career, getting to the end of my time as a professional rugby player, and I started dreaming about this normal life that I'd come home to in New Zealand. Far out, how cool is it going to be to come home to New Zealand, never be told what I needed to do, where I needed to be, how I needed to dress, and I can just do my normal stuff like everyone in New Zealand does. So it's going to be brilliant. Came home to New Zealand, and it was shit. It took me about 6 months to realise I needed structure and routine. Took my wife about 2 weeks to understand that. But what it kind of really, I think, emphasised to me is my normal is structure. My normal is routine. My normal is chasing a goal. My normal is not your normal. My normal is not their normal. There. Don't chase anyone else's normal. What you have created is your normal. And that kind of got me back into structure, events, goal setting, routine, that balance that we talked about. So that was a really important lesson for me.
Yeah, awesome. You've actually possibly touched on the next question, which, there's certain themes that I always bring up in these interviews, and one of them is resilience. And I think you've answered it actually. Tell me about a time in your life that was super challenging, and maybe with a focus on mental health. What was the situation, and then how did you navigate that?
Yeah, listen, to be honest with you, I've been really blessed in terms of my mental well-being because I think of that structure. I mean, I talked about that challenging 6 months where it took me that long to kind of navigate what my normal was. But I get back to those pillars all the time about that goal setting, which is so important to me, that structure, which is so important to me, and with that structure gives me that routine. And when I have routine in my life, my mental well-being's really good and clear because I've got that balance. But outside of that, when you have a structure and a plan, and goals aren't easy, and goals need to be achievable. You need to be able to stretch them, but along the way you need to be able to celebrate some little steps, right? But it's still bloody challenging to achieve a goal. So I think into the camp we're talking about now, which we've got to be really clear on, when we're chasing a goal or staying really structured, you need perseverance. And I think that's kind of been where I've landed. Perseverance is hard to maintain consistency. But if you persevere and do little things well rather than big things not that well, and have that mindset, and this is a swimming background, but any endurance athlete out there, in fact anyone will know, things are tough. But if you can mentally prepare yourself for when it's going to be tough, and visualization was really important to me, or just words that, hey, I know at this stage it's going to be tough. When it becomes tough, it's not a surprise. You're in a swimming race, or you're in a running race, or you're doing 10 Ks, and you know in your mind that after 7 Ks there's going to be a hill, and I have to run up this hill. You know all of that. It's not a surprise when it becomes after 7 Ks there's a hill. So you've dealt with that in your mind. That's perseverance.
Yeah, some of the experiments they do around visualization are incredible. I've seen an experiment where guys were running on a square, around 4 cones, and they ran it. And the guy said, now I want you to visualise doing that. Think about what you did well, what you do better next time, and now I want you to visualise running those cones. And I want you to do it 10 times, and then they ran it again. And, they're knocking 20, 30% off. It's almost like in your mind you've already done it.
I just used to break things down, and when it happened, it was no surprise to me. For instance, when I was playing rugby, and mate, to play an 80-minute test match is overwhelming. How the hell do you do that? How do you go that intensity, or Ironman when I do Ironman, how do you do that? Well, for me and my brain, how I do that is just to go hard out for 8 10-minute blocks. Mate, we can all run hard for 10 minutes. 10 minutes actually isn't that overwhelming. And I could do that, and then I'd just do it again. And then, okay, I'll do it again, and I'll do it again. All of a sudden it's half time. But man, if you sat at the start of a test match and said, I need 40 minutes of full intensity out of you, you'd go, far out.
So
how can I do that?
Yeah, off-grid question here, Ian, but it just popped up. Your first test match.
Yeah.
I think it was against Scotland at Carisbrook. How did you feel before you ran out? I mean, that moment, I've never been close to experiencing that myself, but getting that All Black jersey for the first time, running out for your first test, did you feel overwhelmed, and how did you cope with that?
I felt so excited, because one of the things I've always had, rightly or wrongly, I've always had belief. I'd done the work. The coach had selected me.
Yep.
I knew a lot of the players who had belief in what I could do. So I felt comfortable in that environment.
Yep.
And you look at me and you think, far out, this guy should never be playing test match rugby physically. But in my mind, I never felt out of place. I never felt I wasn't big enough, fast enough, strong enough. But if you physically just looked at me, you'd think all of those things. But I never felt that. I never, in my mind, didn't think I belonged in that environment. So, and there's a fine line, isn't there, between self-belief, which you absolutely 100% need, and arrogance, which you don't need. That's going to cloud things. So I've always believed in myself.
Yep.
Always believed if I'd done the work, I'm going to be okay. When I was playing rugby, if I'd done everything during the week, my training, my rehab, my scouting, and everything was in place, I knew I was going to play well on Saturday.
Scouting?
So what's happening with the opposition, how are they doing, what are they doing, done my homework. I knew I was going to play well.
Yep.
If I'd missed some steps or hadn't done what I thought was enough, and I went into that Saturday game a little bit stressed because I knew in myself I hadn't done it, then I'd put myself in a place I shouldn't be in. Yeah,
and I'd imagine as an All Black, it's probably the greatest honour. There wouldn't be many occasions where you wouldn't do the prep.
No, but sometimes complacency can get in, routine can get in, so you've got to make sure, and we did make sure, that every week was special. Every week was important. You were judged on every week, but we're also human, right? And sometimes complacency can set in. Routine goes, I've already done all that, I don't need to do it again. So that's really important, which is why writing things down and having that structure. And I love box ticking, scrubbing out. Done that, done that. To me, it looks like I know I'm on task, I've achieved, which is why writing down routines, goals, like say I love training with partners, me and you training, but even for me, training by myself, I don't mind it, but I'll write down, okay, 10:30 I'm going for a swim, or 2:30 I'll go to the gym. Just to have that. Mate, when you commit something to yourself, you don't want to let yourself down.
No, exactly. No,
because you don't write it, in my opinion, if you don't write it down, we're all human, you'll end up going, okay, it's 2:05 now, I'll go at 2:30, all right, I've got to go and do that now. So actually doesn't matter training today, I'll actually do that tomorrow.
Yes. Yeah, my first boss was a guy called Ben Rumble. He was a crazy cell phone salesman, but he had this one-page set of mantras that he framed and gave to every new employee, and one of them was, if it's not written, it's not real. And that was, I absolutely agree. There's something about physically putting that on paper that
well, it's important to me, and you can only do what works for you, right? You've got to believe in it.
Yep.
And once again, it's a team environment. We're a business team or a rugby team or a sports team, unless you're bought into it, unless you fully commit to that, unless you absolutely understand that, you're never really going to do it, right? Which is this thing about player empowerment and this youth attitude, which is really important to me. If I come to you as a young player, for instance, and say, hey, I'd like to try this, or have we thought about doing this, and you say no, or hey, we've done that before, it didn't work. To me, that's not empowering, right? So the next time I feel real strongly about something, I'm probably not going to come to you. But if he says, yep, I like that idea, or let's try that idea, and even if it doesn't end up being my idea, but it's something, a genesis of my idea, to me that's empowering. And I'm fully into it.
Yep.
Mate, I'll give it everything.
Yes.
So that's also important.
Yeah, it's interesting actually. I interviewed Sir Wayne Smith in August, and one thing we talked about was markers, and what are some of the markers you look for that might determine someone that becomes an All Black versus a great All Black,
Right.
or a super player, or whatever it might be. And he said one of the key markers is those that willingly take themselves out of their comfort zone. They're willing to not just hit the easy goal, but actually to set a goal up here, and they're open to sort of a growth mindset, I guess.
Yeah, that's wonderful from Smithy. To me, good and great often comes down to how you handle expectation. Say in the All Blacks legacy of that jersey. For some people put that black jersey on, they actually like a Superman cape, right? You grow 10 feet tall and you feel invincible, and people will walk towards that expectation.
Yep.
Thrive in that environment. Others becomes quite heavy.
Yeah, overwhelming. Yeah.
Expectation, your anxiety, all of those things make you quite tense, and maybe you stay a good rugby player. But I tell you one thing: if you wear an All Black jersey, you're a good rugby player. But as we know, the All Blacks, we don't need good; we need great.
Yeah. I think. Remember chatting to an old boss of mine who was an Olympic rower, and I said to her innocently, I said, "Oh, you used to be an Olympian," and she said, "Andy, you're always an Olympian. Once you earn that, once you qualify for the Olympics, like once you become an All Black, you're always an All Black."
Yep, 100%. There's no ex-All Blacks in this country. Or ex-Black Ferns. There's formers, but every Black Fern or every All Black that walks around, and they need to be accessible to New Zealanders. That's really important to New Zealand. That's really important to New Zealand rugby. They need to be seen out and about, contributing to this country, the community. They carry the same values.
Yeah, that was really clear with Smithy. The amount of passion. We talked for over 2 hours, and then after filming, continued to chat. And it was so clear how committed and how passionate he was, and what an honour it was to that humility.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Awesome. So superpowers. I mentioned before that, at Mojo, I actually believe that everyone has a superpower. In fact, when I think about my kids, I've got one child that's neurodiverse, but I think possibly through that has these incredible superpowers around art and songwriting, etc. And then I've got a younger daughter that is an incredible horse rider, and she loves animals, and she's amazing. So I reckon everyone's got a superpower. And what do you think, what was yours and is yours? It's probably not a past tense. And then how did you use that to thrive?
Great question about superpower. I think I've probably already answered it, but belief, I think. Mate, if you're not going to believe in yourself, who is going to believe in what you do? So I think belief is, to me, really important. I believe I can do this. I believe I can run a half marathon. I believe I can do an Ironman. I actually, we're all anxious when we're on the start line thinking you haven't done enough work. But I would never once get onto a start line or a test match or an event and not believe I can do it. So I think belief, maybe, if you call that a superpower. The realisation, once more through my family, grandparents as well as parents, that hard work trumps everything. Yes, if you have an absolutely committed, an athlete that is both skillful, driven, and works hard, you're going to get a super athlete, right? And we've seen those around the world, but they're very few and far between.
The Dan Carters and the Richie McCaws.
Yeah, Karen. I wouldn't even say Richie McCaw with the greatest respect. I think if you analyse Richie McCaw, his hard work trumped any skill that he had. Yeah, driven, but was he the most skillful?
Yeah.
And I no disrespect to Richie.
Well, I think Steve Hansen says the same thing.
All of a sudden you have like a Kieran Reid or Dan Carter or in other sports. But they are few and far between, which is why an athlete like myself or Richie McCaw, hard work trumps everything. What is the secret to success? Well, there isn't any secret, is there? It's just work harder than the next guy. Work as hard as you possibly can, and maybe. And I love training. I actually enjoy training. I enjoy the feeling, a routine of training, the discipline of training. We're in a group or by myself, so I actually love that. I get a lot out of it. Both mentally and physically. So, understanding very early on. Swimming background, really cool family dynamic, that I had to work harder than anyone else. I wanted to work harder than anyone else, and to get success you had to work harder than anyone else, and the harder I worked, the more success I got. That if that's a superpower, or if that's a key to success, it's the only thing I can say.
Yeah. There's that saying, the harder I work, the luckier I get.
And cliches are that for a reason, because they're true, right? But you don't know how hard you can work until you keep pushing yourself. You can work harder. Which is why perseverance, getting back to that, consistency. Another key message that we need to get through when we're goal setting is just doing little things well all the time, being really consistent in how you approach your friends, your life, your business, your training, whatever the case may be, just try and be consistent.
Yes, awesome. Now, Ian, I'm going to honour your precious time because you're a busy man at the All Blacks experience. So I'm going to jump ahead a bit because I don't want to miss talking about the All Blacks experience. So what is it and what's your role here?
Yes, so I'm the General Manager of the All Blacks experience. We're based in the heart of the Auckland CBD in the Sky City. So open invitation to anyone to come along, and it's a New Zealand story really told through our rugby lens. And we talk about the All Blacks, we actually talk about all of our teams in black. The men, of course, who have their traditions and their heritage and their legacy. Our Black Ferns, so our ladies team, our Wahine Toa, who bring this amazing different joy to our game, and the way women prepare for matches should be always different than men prepare for matches, and New Zealand should be so proud the way we hero our women. I just love the energy that they bring to our game, all of our sevens teams, our Māori All Blacks. And really is, we take people through the showcase of connection. How do you connect? How do we as All Blacks connect with New Zealand? How do we connect with all of those players who have gone before us? That legacy is a really important piece for New Zealand rugby. Through this Māori stone, which kind of connects all New Zealanders to the All Blacks and what that means. We take you through the making. How do you make, it's rugby for us, right? but it could be any sports team out there, any business organisation that you deal with. How do you make an elite person? Well, 100% my philosophy in this country, and we should thank our clubs every day for making a Black Ferns, making the All Blacks, is to let our tamariki fall in love with the game.
Yep.
I strongly believe my role as a former player, as a coach, as a parent, is just share my love of our game with the kids.
Yeah, so Ian, sorry to interrupt, but for the non-New Zealand folks out there, tamariki is
kids.
Yeah?
Kids, absolutely. Our kids. Everything is about our kids. Everything is about the base of that pyramid. The wider the base of our pyramid, the higher the peak of the All Blacks. And the thing about sharing your love and the thing about making in grassroots is most of our kids won't become Black Ferns or won't become All Blacks. But if they love our game for the time that they're around on this earth, that is a win for us. It's a strong win. So we take people through the making and then the shaping. How do you shape that love from becoming a club rugby player into becoming an All Black or a Black Fern? So take people through a lot of the skills, mentally, physically, understanding the culture of the All Blacks or the Black Ferns. And you understand elite sports teams, it's about doing your job, right? It's absolutely being selfish in the fact that you only worry about your role.
Yes.
Just worry about your role, have complete trust in my teammate that you're going to do your role, and the outcome is what the outcome is. For the All Blacks, and we're in a winning environment, you need to win. But focus on your role, focus on the process of winning. I always strongly believe in that shaping. Winning is irrelevant to the All Blacks. It's a process of winning that's really, really important. So, take you through the making, the shaping, and then something really special at the end when we sit you down in this replica of the Eden Park changing rooms, arguably the home of New Zealand rugby, and feel, but also hear what it's like being. Being a Black Fern, being an All Black is life-changing, not only for you, but for your whole family. It just changes your family, and everyone's journey into that jersey is different, it's unique, but man, it's a powerful story. So really, really emotional in that being. It just gets me every time. And then we get ourselves ready with Sir Buck Shelford, who lays down a challenge for us to face the Hakas. And you walk down a tunnel, and that tunnel is where, as I said before, you feel going from good to great. Are you going to walk down there, smile, embrace that challenge, feel amazing in that black jersey, and become the great that we want you to be? Or will you walk down that tunnel, you hear the crowd, you start to hear the anthems, it's quite cold in that tunnel, and is that jersey getting heavy and heavy, and are those butterflies coming out, and are you tensing up, and will you just stay good at the game? And then you go out to the game field, and it's a privilege to do the haka, but now you're standing face to face, facing and being challenged by both the All Blacks and the Black Ferns haka. So that's what the All Black experience it is. It's a New Zealand story, and what we're doing in this New Zealand story is weaving in every room, making, shaping, being our Māori heritage, our Māori culture, and how that intertwines and makes New Zealand, but also makes all of our teams in black better. And that's the cultural element. Powerful, man.
And we've got this beautiful, I guess, a broader Pacifica sort of influence in all the teams, obviously. You go to Auckland, I think it's the biggest Pacific Island city in the world, and you see that in the teams. I went and watched the Black Ferns play Australia at Ballybor a few months ago, and a massive Pacifica influence. So it's nice that there's that representation in the teams.
Yeah, Yeah, well, cool. We also need to acknowledge, and once more we should be very proud of this, the difference between the All Blacks and the Black Ferns. Two different teams, two different cultures, shared values, but the way the All Blacks or man prepares for the game is going to be so different.
Yep.
And should be so different to the
Yep.
way that a Black Fern or woman prepares to the game. And I say to all these young girls out there, and as we hear of these young girls coming through, but don't be like your dad or don't be like your brother, be you. You know, bring your joy, your energy to preparing for a game. And actually it was Wayne Smith who made this amazing statement which really resonates with me, Wayne Smith, having been an All Black, coached both the All Blacks and the Black Ferns.
Yep.
Made this comment that I really picked up on, that men, All Blacks, we have to play well to feel good. So all the celebrations after the game, right? But we're pretty introvert before the game. Woman, you need to feel good to play well.
Yeah.
So have the music.
Yes.
Hug and joy and pump each other up
Yep.
to get the best out of you on the field.
Yep.
And
Yeah, I know Smithy initially found that, you know, the partying on the bus and the music, and he thought, oh, crikey, I'm not used to this. But I think acknowledging that difference was really important.
yeah, really important.
Yeah.
Super cool.
Awesome.
Super cool. And women need to believe in that path. And they do.
Yeah.
And they certainly don't need me telling them that.
Awesome. Well, I haven't been through the All Blacks experience yet because I was running a little bit late, but my dad's going through as we speak. And it sounds like it definitely ain't no museum. It's very immersive and...
Fully immersive. You fully feel connected. And that's what I really want people to feel. The black jersey has this wider or the spirit, right? And that's what you're going to feel.
Yep.
Feel what it's like to wear that jersey, to be part of this nation. And like everything, mate, when you get it, when you feel something inside you, you are connected to it. And connection's really important to New Zealanders, to feel connected, be part of something bigger. Because you think when the All Blacks are performing the haka, it's actually not the 15 or the 23 men on the field performing the haka. It's all of those players who have gone before them, so the 1,000 odd that have gone before them, and then it's the nation
5 million
behind them.
Yeah.
That is a powerful force to take on the opposition. So it's never 23 men playing the opposition.
Yes.
Everyone who's done kamati before, kapoponga before, people like yourself and your dad who are New Zealanders, they're behind the power of the All Blacks. That's about connection.
Yep.
We want people to feel connected to those teams.
Awesome. Well, probably a really nice segue to sort of close things out. And one is to say thank you. I'm incredibly grateful for you making the time. But I've always loved, when I've worked with teams and one-on-one and coaching, I've always loved to ask a question that gets people to dream and to set a vision, and if Ian, I'm lucky enough to be able to interview you again in December 2028, in 46 months' time, because December 28 for me, for personal reasons, has a lot of significance. I've set some pretty audacious goals for Mojo for that date. But if we're sitting down pre-Christmas having a beer and I'm saying, and you're saying, Andy, these are the things I'm most proud of, what would they be?
Well, the first one was, say, Andy, I'm still married to beautiful Janine. That would be my number one absolute goal, and absolute, when there's this foundation, there's this rock, when there's this absolute respect between myself and Janine, it's so good for our family. So that would be my number one goal. I'd look back and see where my kids are, as long as they're happy, healthy, and have some direction, I'd be really honoured to be able to share what they're up to. That would be my absolute pillars. I'd also like to think, because they are so fit and healthy, my mother and father, but Janine's mother is still around, so that's really important. Those rocks are there.
How old are your and your wife's parents?
Yeah, they're all in their 80s.
Yeah, me too.
Mid 80s, fit and healthy. So that would be my number one pillar. I'd still love to say to you, hey man, just done another Ironman.
Yep.
Or got some crazy event I'm about to do. So that's really important that I have these goals myself to drive and work towards, and I'll be doing that with groups of like-minded mates. And that's really important to blokes. I train with a lot of guys, and we spend a lot of time training together, but a lot of time just sitting around together, sometimes doing nothing, sometimes talking about what's happening in our lives, and that's really important. So I always think men should never be ashamed to go out and just have a beer with your mates or just hang out with your mates. I'm really lucky in my life to have a group I've trained with for the last 20 odd years, and we catch up weekly.
Yeah, I think one personal reflection for me in the last 4 or 5 years, and something I'm really committed to creating more awareness around, is men tend to be less likely to ask for help. So having that mateship is so important.
Oh, I've been so lucky in my life to have this group of guys. I've been constant pretty much through that 20 odd years. And whether you need some help, or you just need to talk, or you just need to, I don't know, share the same stories that we've shared for 20 years, So men should never be afraid to do that. And always say to people, also don't be afraid to look after yourself. It's not selfish
Self-care.
to look after yourself. And you can't help everyone out there unless you're helping yourself. So that'd be really important to me. We do a lot of community work, my family and I. It's really important. In another 3 years, I'll be able to say to Andy, we're still doing Eddie's meals, and we still know we're making a difference every month, and I'm still got that balance in my life. So that community balance, in 3 years, I'd like to be able to say to you, my family life, I'd like to be able to say, still got that balance there. Andy, still training and still driven. What I'm doing there, work is flourishing. You're inspiring kids every day to either play rugby or connect to New Zealand rugby or learn more about New Zealand rugby. So that's really important to me as well. So I'd like to be able to say my dream in 3 years' time is, mate, I've still got my balance right.
Isn't that a beautiful way to end? Because we've sort of come full circle to those pillars. So, Ian, thank you. I really appreciate you hanging out and having a yarn. And I know that through this series, people will be inspired to live healthier lives. So
can I just finish on one thing?
Please do.
I hate to take it over from you.
No, please.
It's just a message to I spend a lot of time with kids, and I know this is going around the world, but in New Zealand we have an amazing group of young New Zealanders who are going to change the world. Inspirational, in my opinion, more empathetic than me or my generation, more tolerant than me or my generation at the same time. And I just want to say, and this is what we need to do, we need to absolutely back our kids, give them a voice, listen to what they are saying, because whilst we can give them a lot of direction and resilience, is actually we're living in their world. You and I have had our go with the greatest respect, and we've got a lot to offer, no question. But our young New Zealanders coming through, it's their world. Let's listen to what they're saying. Let's believe 100% in what they're doing, because when kids, and when I say kids, these are young adults, feel fully supported, and someone believes in you, they will change the world.
And there's the superpower.
And that is a superpower right there. So I'll end it on that.
Awesome. Thanks, Ian.
Thank you.